Welcome to the Intuitive Teacup, my friends. These tarot readings are meant to motivate, empower, and inspire you. Please keep an open heart and an open mind as you watch these general readings, as some material will resonate and some might not. Do have faith it is serving someone out there, and take away only what resonates for you. Please release the rest. Feel free to book a personal reading with me if you would like something catered specifically to your inquiries and energy. That information is down below for you. You are responsible for all actions and decisions and the vibe that you bring to this channel. This is optional advice or guidance, and of course, you will always have free will. Check the box below for my social media links, the decks I use, and more information on this channel. Let's hop into your tarot reading. What's up, Earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn? Welcome to your mini career and financial and money reading. I will only do what the cards tell me here. I will do my best. So be nice, guys. Be nice. All right, here we go. Let's tap in to Earth energy. We're going to start in a row. Timestamps are down below, so you can hop right to yours. Let's start. Should we go backwards? Let's start with Capricorn. Capricorn. So give me a quick storyline, projection roughly a month or so. It's tarot, right? We'll do our best. Okay, that's sticking out. So you're going to be busy. You're going to be busy to make a deadline. There may even be something about competition. So maybe you're applying to a job or gunning for a position or something. It's not, let me clarify it a little bit more. Yeah, okay, I was going to say, I don't think this is bad. I think it's like, get ready because you're going to be busy. That's what, Five of Wands is. We know Wands involve action, passion, sometimes aggression or assertion, but it's saying Wheel of Fortune. So this is something that you want and desire, but it's like you got to push through that last obstacle, or you got to put in that extra, that extra week of the research, or, whatever it is. It's going to require you to find that motivation, which that's going to be challenging for all of us right now because Mars, which is the planet of assertion and action and aggression, right? That just went into Taurus, which is like, let's get comfortable. Let's just maintain. Taurus is a much more slower moving energy. We think of the bull, right? So Mars, which is go, 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 Aries energy, is in Taurus. So it's going to say it might be more of a challenge for you, Capricorn, to kind of harness and hone in on that passion, for lack of a better term. But I know that you will rise to the occasion. I know that you will muster that strength, that extra energy, it's like that, I don't know how else to explain it, but anyway, I know that you will muster it because there's fortune on the other end of it for you. So that's very positive, but I think the message here for you Capricorns is saying, know in advance if you are kind of hitting the wall, rather than, and you guys would never do this, but I'm just, remember this when it happens. That's not where it ends. It's almost like these obstacles are being imposed on you for a reason, because quite literally rising to the occasion, it could be that rather than submitting your essay as is, by hitting that obstacle of, it's just not right, you're going to work through a problem and come to an even better solution. So the results will be more fantastic. So right now you already have a great money card. And I have to be honest, guys, these readings have been hard because I haven't gotten a lot of money cards. So I'm already hearing the comments about it, but I can only tell you what the cards show me. So this is saying with a little bit of gusto and energy, good things are coming in. So tell me a little bit more. Let's do a little bit more about each. I'm going to get a little bit more specific. So obviously only take what resonates for you. Yeah, don't get frustrated by the delays. But I am sort of getting measuring yourself up against other people. Now, typically I would immediately jump to, well, don't do that. It's, it's your path, it's your life. I'm actually getting, though, there may actually be something valid in sizing up the competition or scoping out what other people are doing. Obviously not in a shady way, right? If you're in college, it's not about, cheating on your test, right? You guys know this, but there's something about getting an eye for the competition or whatever this is, if you're gunning for a position or whatever, put it in context for what fits for you. It has to do with looking at the results of why other people aren't succeeding. This sounds so sinister. I don't mean it like that. But it has to do with looking at what isn't working, and honestly, it's working smart. It's understanding, that person's doing it that way, and clearly it's not working, so I'm going to save the 5 hours of doing it that way, and I'm going to go this way. There is something very valuable about, and I hope this makes sense, I can't quite pin down exactly what the circumstance would be, but looking around you and seeing what isn't working to save yourself the time, to save yourself the hassle, or, take pieces and parts of what you like around you, what you're observing. There's a lot of observing going on. And yeah, something about that, utilizing the pieces that are going to benefit you, what you see potential in, and then that's going to sort of escalate you or skyrocket you or push you in a more positive, advantageous direction. There's a more creative solution than I think you guys are giving credit or not giving credit to. That's really what this is. I know it's annoying because you guys are trying to push through this door. Maybe it's just for resumes or applications. There's a reason why that door isn't opening yet. It will, Capricorn. Do you hear me? The door will open, but you need to chill for a second and understand what the universe, God, source, spirit is trying to tell you in that moment of why that door just isn't opening. Do you understand what I mean? Because there's a greater reason behind it. Some of you, it has to do with righting a wrong of something you did in the past. I don't know. Maybe that's a personal issue with a coworker or something like that. It may also have to do with going back to a solution or a project or a way of doing things. It could even be a profession you did once upon a time, right? There's something about looking back to the past and understanding there actually is something of value there that you could sort of transplant into your current scenario. So again, going to be wildly different for all of you. But the thing is, this is not a surprising message to a lot of you because you've already been thinking about either going back to a former job or a former career path, going back to work with a former coworker. Others of you, even if you work in a wildly different field now and you love it, awesome, that's still valid. It's saying, I'm totally just giving you examples. Say you work as a recruiter. There's something you did once upon a time as a temp in a, classroom with your students. That methodology or that system of organization, whatever it is, you're going to look back and be like, oh shit, that would actually really work well in whatever I'm doing now. That's what I mean. There's going to be like a light bulb, and it has to do with something you did or utilized in your past. It could even be a tool you used. This delay is absolutely purposeful. So let's talk about this, right? Be creative in your solutions. If you keep hitting a wall and again, trying to bust through a door and it's not opening, you need to open it a different way. You need to take a crowbar out and pry it open, right? No, I'm just kidding. You need to approach it in a different way, but to not give up. Don't abandon ship because again, something good is coming out of this. Though I would even offer too, again, depending on what the circumstance is, after trial and error and try again, your light bulb moment for some of you, you may realize, I'm kind of speaking in metaphor, you don't even want to open that door. Like you change directions entirely because of that pause or that delay. This is a card of the universe knows what's up and they have blessings in store for you, but you kind of have to help get there too. It's like they can't tell you all the answers. You got to figure it out a little bit too. All right, so tell me about this Wheel of Fortune. There's your light bulb moment, your epiphany. This tower is not necessarily bad. This also makes me think of that whole lecture I gave you on Mars being in Taurus right now, right? This is Mars energy. Mars is action, passion, go, go, go. It can be a card of huge sexuality, right? There's a lot of messages here. It can be a card of anger and wrath and frustration and physical altercations, right? I think this is saying, ironically, because I just gave you that silly joke, don't bust down the door. If you're breaking out the crowbar, you're not doing it right. Again, it's watch your temper, watch your anger, watch your frustration, because this is going to be far more delayed than you want it to be. So this is representing two things. Don't bust the door down. That's not the appropriate way to do it, and it's gonna shoot you in the foot in the long run. Because you, more or less, Capricorn, you need to play by the rules on this. It's not to say you can't think outside the box and be creative, but it's there's a proper channel you have to go through. So if you, whatever, right, you're applying to some higher up position, you can't go knocking on the CEO's door. That's not how it works. Do you understand what I mean? So understand that you kind of have to navigate the, navigate the tide or whatever it is you're dealing with here. But eventually there's going to be either a breaking away of the door, in metaphor, of course. I'm getting a lot of messages, so I don't know which way to go, but I'm just going to keep going and hopefully spirit guides me here. But This is a light bulb moment and an epiphany and an awakening, and essentially the Tower brings you to the star of healing, so it's like you get realigned with your North Star. You get realigned, you get back on track, because here, I do want to say this whole issue is because more or less you aren't on track. It's not to say you're drastically off track, but it's kind of like you took a side road, you fell down a rabbit hole, so to say. That rabbit hole isn't like the right way to go. There is no right or wrong, you guys know this. Ultimately, it will serve you as lessons. But that's what I'm saying. When there's obstacles and struggle and frustration, best to let go and let God, right? If you've done all you can and it's still not working, again, you got to mix up the ingredients. Some of you are going to leave this job anyway, or you're going to abandon this project because something better comes along. It's being interesting. I don't think it's a firing. I don't think it's a layoff. I think this is you jumping ship, because there's I feel like I gave you this, and maybe it was Virgo. I gave another earth sign this reading not too long ago, but it had to do with their dating life. It may have been Sagittarius too. The reason I mention this is this whole metaphor of, oh, what's behind the door? I want it and I'm going to get to it. And I like, that is mine, whatever the prize is on the other end. There's this similar metaphor of a reading I did recently where it's like, no, you don't want what's on the other side of this door. Like, almost like, girl, you don't even know. Boy, you know, whatever. But because you're so hell-bent and determined, you may actually be missing the larger picture, that what you want on the other side of this door, this obstacle, this raise, this, achievement, right? It might not make you as happy as you think it's going to, or it may not serve a purpose in the long run in your career. So you may actually be delaying what is meant to be yours by forcing yourself into a situation that it's just not the right timing. This is about divine timing. Interestingly enough, this Wheel of Fortune may actually have to do with something, I was about to say entirely different, different. I'm going to say that. Because a lot of you choose to, this doesn't seem very Capricorn, but I have to be honest, this is the message. A lot of you choose to abandon this. So again, I'm not saying this is your entire career trajectory. This could be a very specific circumstance of you, I want that house and I'm going to buy that house and I put my money down and this and that. And then all of a sudden the deal falls through. You may actually decide, oh my God, did you see that house that just got listed over there? I want that one instead. Does that help? That's sort of what I'm getting from this. This doesn't have to be huge, major career stuff, though for some of you, I think it might be. This could be something to do with your money, right? Forcing, and the answers aren't coming. There's a reason for it. So some of you are going to change your mind. Others of you will have essentially, and what is that expression? The eyes pulled, the wool pulled over your eyes. All of a sudden you see something for what it really is and you're like, oh no. So yeah, that's the message. One way or another, I think a lot of you change your mind or you have an epiphany of how to make something work better. And for a lot of you, making something work better has to do with utilizing some other ingredient that you weren't using at the beginning of this. All right, let's talk about the Wheel of Fortune. Although that really does have to do with the Wheel of Fortune, so just when you think everything's falling to shit, it's not, okay? That's a disguise, and it is meant to test your kind of determination and your tenacity and your kind of stick-to-itiveness. This is not a tragedy, okay, guys? It's just not. It leads into the Wheel of Fortune, okay? Okay? I hate that I say that, sorry. So for some of you, there actually could be some sort of issue with your workplace. It could be like an electrical fire or a flood, or I want to be clear, something that's pretty much out of your control. And I don't do fear-based readings, but just, if you want to hear the message, hear it out. It may actually impact you because you get some sort of like payout or settlement because of it. I don't know if you're like suing your workplace for like, I don't know, like asbestos or something like that. Like, there could be a downfall of, it doesn't have to be corporation, but more or less it seems like a bigger body, like a bigger entity. I don't think this is for my entrepreneurs out there. So just to put your mind at ease, I don't think this is your message. This is for Capricorn reporting into a job. There's something where the tower's coming down on that business. And the thing is, again, let's hear this message. It benefits you money-wise. So I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it has to do with like property damage, or I don't know, maybe like they're doing construction and like shit falls on your car and ruins your car and they're like, oh, I guess, you know what I mean? Like there's, some of you are like, not my car. Anyway, moving on. So in terms of money, let's look at this. Anything the universe wants to tell Capricorn about the Wheel of Fortune? There's a transition. There is an ending of something. And you'll be happy in that there's an ending of this struggle and frustration. But the thing is, it's a necessary obstacle because you have to work through those challenges. Some of you are going to work through it and be like, oh, I get it now. I can make it work. Others of you are going to work through it and be like, oh, that's what the ingredient is? Like, that's what I'm going to get for all this time and effort? Oh, no, I don't want that. And then universe is like, yes, now we're on the right page because you decide to transition out of this. Here's the thing. I think you're settling for less, Capricorn. All these things I'm saying, and I'm like, that doesn't sound very Capricorn-esque. But, you all have a vastly different birth chart, right? So you're not all this stereotypical Capricorn that we make you out to be in tarot, right? I'm aware of that. You're aware of that, right? There's something about what you initially wanted. You do change your mind. And I feel like I do give you guys that reason a lot. Oh, that's exactly what this is. Do you see that? There's a disappointment or a delay or something. And again, I think you're going to try and work through it. And I'm not saying you can't. This could even be about your marriage or a divorce or something, right? Be creative if it fits in your life. Ultimately, I think it's like the writing's on the wall. Eventually, you get to a point where you can actually see the vision of what it's going to be. And there's a lackluster sense of, oh, that's what I've been working towards, or that's what I'm going to get. You don't have to abandon this. You don't have to. Something good will come from it eventually. I would also argue, though, some of you who are like, oh, that's not what I'm going to get. I've been putting all months of work into this project and, it's all for this, but I'm disappointed by it. All right, I guess that's my life. Universe is like, oh, no, it's not. Then you're going to get hit with a tower, which is not always an easy energy to deal with. But as I said, it realigns you to where you're supposed to be. But it happens in a shocking way because the universe is trying to get your attention. Now, some of you are going to, again, opt out of this contract or this project, this job, this house, this whatever, and transition to finding something new. And I think that's the key. About face. You do like a 180. You choose the other option. You choose the other wand, the Two of Wands, right? Actions, decisions. A lot of Aries energy is kind of filtering into this. So I don't know if you're dealing with an Aries or that's your realtor or something to do with an Aries, maybe significant, or a Scorpio or a Sag. Yeah, maybe a Scorpio. Just putting it out there. And I know some of you are frustrated too because currently a lot of you are like, there is no other option. I don't have a decision. I don't have a choice. It's this or nothing. That's what you think now. Just you wait because something else is coming in if you aren't currently making a decision. I would argue that if a lot of you are deciding between A and B, again, like this message is almost for nothing because you have to go with your gut. You have to go down the path that you're meant to. And ultimately, I would argue you probably will. A lot of you in the long run, you're going to choose the other. And I know for some of you, it doesn't make sense right now. Don't worry about it. It'll make sense later. You're going to remember this tarot reading and be like, oh shit, she was right. I'm just kidding. All right, let's get a new storyline for Capricorn. That seems very positive. Don't be frustrated by it. In fact, we'll shuffle those back in. We'll see if something else comes in. Switch decks. All right. What else do we need to tell Capricorn? Money, career, and finances. Regarding their money or their job, what is the challenge or focus? In like one card, what is the challenge or focus in the coming month or so? Upside down. Your partnership. And the thing is, it did come upside down, so that actually speaks volumes to me. There's someone you're working with who there's bad blood there, or it's just, again, you're hitting a wall. It's not to say this is like a divorce of your business partner or your marriage, right? It could be that too. But to me, it's saying you guys need to get on the same page again. I actually think the fact that it's being shown with Two of Cups, it's good in that you guys, like in metaphor, it's like there's love for each other. You guys could work together really well, but something's out of whack. And there's even little doves above their head. It's like there needs to be a peace offering. You guys may have had creative differences, that kind of thing. It's not to say you can't fix it, but that's going to be a wedge in your potential to make more money or succeed in your business because this could be your sister, this could be your parent, this could be your child. It's mucking up your energy, and so when you're putting energy in your job, you're bringing with it kind of that icky energy of like, oh, well, I'm mad at them, or they did this to me, or you have to work through the problem, the relationship problem. That's going to help you. It could also be in reverse too, because if the answer to your prayers is partnership, I need a collaborator, I need someone to handle the creative while I do the money, or vice versa, right? It could be saying, oh, there's partnership coming in for you, it's just not here yet. Sometimes when cards are in reverse, they're delayed too. So Two of Cups, it's a good match. It's a good fit. There's compatibility there. That's your challenge or focus, okay? And then what's the help available to Capricorn? What do they have going for them already? What is strong? What should they continue to grow with? What is the help available to Capricorn that is in easy reach or currently around them, something that they've started to build that is successful? Oh, you're going to hit me with the 3 cards. All right, let's see. Ace of Pentacles, so a new opportunity. A solid offer. It could be a job offer, but you turned your back on it. Okay, this is a similar message. There's a very good offer. It's tangible. You can do something with it, but you don't want to believe it. It's almost like, and don't be offended, but it's like you're lying to yourself. You're like, oh, that could never work, or it could be, I tried it once, it didn't work out. Well, you're probably going to try it again. That's what I would say, Capricorn. Yeah, you're going to return to this. And it may even have to do with a seasonal change or something to do with the timestamp of winter. I don't know if it's, something you guys worked on last winter or, maybe currently, depending on where you are watching this from. Something to do with like the snowfall or the snow change, or maybe that has to do with like something you're doing or designing, or I don't know, the snow may actually be like an icon of your business or a logo, or something to do with snow is important. It also has to do with like a seasonal change, is you're going to go back to the way you did it before. That's what we were saying earlier too, so I don't know if you guys have skipped around, but this is kind of a repeated message. There's something about going back to a way of doing something or a person you once collaborated with. Maybe you're fighting. The help available to you is looking over your shoulder and being like, yeah, but remember how good it was? It's solid. It's tangible. That's a good thing to... But the thing is, to be hyper aware and also, oh, it just started to snow, Capricorn. That's hilarious. Oh my God, I love it when that happens. That's a synchronicity. It's good to be questioning yourself and others always, but it doesn't have to be done with this like veil of pessimism and, well, what is their shtick? What are they trying to get out of me? If anything, I think this is saying the opposite. It's like, how can we help each other? You scratch my back, I scratch yours, especially in terms of collaboration. That's really what this message is saying to me. Let bygones be bygones. What's interesting is, do you see how this seed, it's like it's trying to grow, it needs to be nurtured, but it's like the vines are crushing it. I think this is representing something you could build with someone or with a business, a partnership, however you want to view it. And it's like, we just got to unearth it and get it out. It's like we got to dust it off and brush it off so we can like work on it again. This has to do with returning to something from your past that a lot of you feel like you lost it. It's too late. You can't go back. Do you see how he or she is holding that sword? It's almost like, yeah, take that sword and cut the vines and save the piece you need and move on. Like there's something very symbolic about that. That's the help available to you, Capricorn. That's what I got for you guys. I'm trying to keep these shorter. Actually, Capricorn, you have the best one so far, I have to say it. And not only in terms of the messages, but in terms of me actually being a decent tarot reader. My poor water signs, theirs were rough. It's just, yeah, anyway. But I'm not going to apologize for it because I do that too much. So it is what it is. Let's move on to our next earth sign. Thanks for sticking around, Capricorn. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Let's go backwards and we'll do Virgo. So, Virgo, what's up? How you been? How you doing? Let's talk about your career and money. Be nice. That's what I'm telling everybody. All right. It's like the 3 people who leave comments that it gets under your skin and then you just, anyway. I'm breathing that out. I am immune to criticism. Virgo's like, oh, really? I'm just kidding. All right, let's do it, Virgo. Let's talk about your money. Money, 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 and jobs, career, loans, payouts, government checks, anything that wants to come through, I will read what the cards tell me. So let's get a storyline for Virgo in the next month or two. What's the deal with their money? You got lots of cards sticking out. Okay. So let's see. You do have a decision to leave home or to move locations. You may be moving the location of your office building, especially if you work with animals or pets or something to do with nature or conservation, nature, anything to do with that. If it doesn't have to do with uprooting your house or your office or changing cities, changing locations, you're going to have an opportunity to travel for your job. So if you are applying to jobs, especially if you have 2 applications in the running, One of them, I think, eventually would require you to move. And it doesn't have to be long distance, but, you know, if you live in bumpkin country, in order to accept that job in New York City, you're probably going to have to move closer to the city. Do you understand what I mean? So I see that happening for some of you. You do have an offer coming in. Okay, but it kind of stresses you out, though. So here's the thing. King of Cups is you know, I always say money is like it's an energy. It's a currency, right? The king of currency, the king of money, right? I think this represents an offer, and there's word coming in that, hey, welcome to the team. It's almost like, because it's being relayed with Knight of Swords, it's communication, but it's like, would you like to come and fight for us? So you may actually be doing something where it's like you're fighting for a cause, or it's like you're a, what is that word? It's like you're a Joan of Arc. You're fighting for a cause. You have a purpose. You're like a do-gooder, right? Whatever you're doing. Anyway, I think you get a job offer. I think it comes through. But what's the deal? Because that's your reaction to it. Five of Pentacles is like, oh, this is uncomfortable. I don't know if I want it. So, I mean, obviously it's going to be a little different for all my Virgos. There's a reason why taking this job makes you uncomfortable. Now, that doesn't mean it's a death sentence. That doesn't mean you can't take it. But maybe you have to work with someone you don't like. Maybe you have to move out of your cozy house and you love it. Maybe you have to take a small pay deduction. I could see that with Five of Pentacles, because here's the thing. You get a job offer, or at minimum an interview, but I have to be honest, I think you get at least 2 interviews, if not 2 job offers. Again, this is one tarot reader reading the cards, but that's what I see. One, if not both of them, stresses you out, though, because I think here's what I think this is. I think you have to compromise on something. And I mean, do you have to? No. Do you have to take these jobs? No. But ultimately, I see there being you right in the thick of it and not knowing which way to go. But the thing is, it does have to do with a money issue. So again, it may be that you have to take a pay cut to take a dream job, right? It's not all like gray clouds in the sky, right? Like, there's obviously something about this job you wanted. You applied to it, right? Though I would argue if times are tough and it's destitute and you just need to apply to anything, well, you're going to get some bite backs, but then the reality hits of, oh, now I actually have to work that retail job or whatever. And I'm not shitting on that. I'm just giving you an example, right? The money aspect of this stresses you out. So it could be that you get your dream job, but again, you have to move to the city and you're like, I can't afford that. It's almost like, and this is so not a typical Virgo message, so I say that and I acknowledge it. It's almost like you didn't plan out all the details of what would happen if you actually got the job. I know. Some of you are like, yes, I did. Like, I know, you're a Virgo. I have a feeling you did. So here's what I'm going to say to you. There's something unexpected or unanticipated about this opportunity. The thing is, it looks like a boss opportunity. It's a King of Cups opportunity. There's something about it where you're like, ugh. It could be that they offer you this job, but it gets put on delay, or something about, or you could get furloughed or something like that if it's the opposite. Here's the thing. I think it's a job offer. I'm just trying to put it in a scenario where you're like, yes, but no. And it has to do with money. So anyway, let me try and get you a little bit more, because I don't want to keep hammering the same point home and not be specific. You're deciding between options. You're deciding between people. You're deciding between locations. Okay, but because it's being related to me with King of Cups, there's something about it's very fixed. There's no wiggle room for negotiation. You either want it or you don't. But in order to accept that, it's you who has to make the negotiation in terms of your personal life. Some of you are on the cusp of getting into like a long-term relationship, but then something comes along with a job and you're like, oh, it could be something like that too. And also make sure if you're going to take a job, it's good for your mental health, because some of you, and I don't know all the details, some of you know that you have like a little thing about your health, whether it's, you know, your mental health or your emotional health or maybe you have back pain, right? There's something about your health that needs to be taken into consideration, and you get a job offer, but you're like, oh, but it's a lot of standing and I don't think I can do that. Do you understand what I mean? There's something about it where you want it, but you really have to step back and ask yourself, is it worth it? What will I have to compromise to take it? I promise, well, I can't promise you, it's tarot. There's 2. There's a decision between A or B. Now, again, it could be relationship versus job, or it could be 2 job offers. Or if you're not applying to new jobs, it could be 2 project teams you're going to work on, or 2 locations, 2 districts. There's something about this one or that one. So, I like that the offer's coming in. And don't let this stress you out, right? I mean, I know easier said than done, but it's like, ultimately, this offer is coming through for a reason, so it will always serve you in terms of lessons, Virgo. Travel. The travel freaks a lot of you out. And okay, so maybe it's a health travel reason, right? With everything going on globally, right? Maybe you don't want to get on an airplane, and maybe it's a job interview, but you have to hop on a plane to do it. It could be something like that. I think you're going to go. I'm not saying you have to or that you should. You need to be safe. You need to wear your mask and all that. That's not my job. You need to figure that out, right? I think a lot of you are going to go. I see you traveling. And okay, so what scares you? The fear is the part you need to get over. After that, it will be smooth sailing. That's what the Six of Swords says. And even this, it's like you're in this dark tunnel. It's kind of scary. It's fearful. It's unknown. You may feel like a fish out of water. It might be like, I don't know if I can do this. Did I sign up for this too soon? I didn't think this through. This is uncomfortable. This is awkward. A lot of you have anxiety. And I'm not judging. I'm just saying I see that being an issue here. When you get to the other side of the tunnel, look how beautiful it is. There's calm, flowing water. The sun is bright and shining down on you. You may end up working with children, or something about this may involve going with your child or bringing your child with you. You may be putting your child in a special school or something like that, and it could be the tuition is insane. Yeah, even if it, so it could be like college if your kid is that age, but it could even be like a special needs school or something. So let's see. A lot of you are like healers, or I'm sort of seeing like Reiki, like energy, like practitioners, but it's more like spiritual. A lot of you had an ending with a Leo. That could have been a husband, a wife. It could even be someone in your family, right? I don't predict death, but I mean, it happens, right? So if you know that's your story, that's just a confirmation for you, but I don't predict death, okay? 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 There could have been an ending with a Leo. I'm going to let you feel out what that is if it makes sense for you. A lot of you just need to talk to a counselor or a therapist because you're having like a little like panic attack or an anxiety attack. And the thing is, it will subside. It will. This is not like a long lasting thing. It's just, it seems like there's a lot of change in your life, and it comes very quickly and very swiftly, right? With the Knight of Swords, it's like, are you in or out? Are you going to make the decision? And it feels like you're very stressed to make a decision. And I think you will. But because I think you had to make it very fast, or faster than you would like, right? Earth energy tends to be a little bit slower and more thought out, more practical. I think even like on the plane or in the car, you're having regrets of, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done this. A lot of you, careers involving wellness, it doesn't have to be that, but like taking care of health or the body, it could be a nurse or something. I think you're going to exceed in this. Queen of Wands, I think you're going to be like the talk of the town, so to say. What's the deal here? I also am getting this message of like trying, this is a metaphor, so again, this isn't going to make sense literally, but it will for some of you in metaphor. The idea of trying to bring back something to life that has passed away. Very likely something to do with your job or your career or a relationship that has ended. It's like I see some of my Virgos willing it to like, well, I love him and I know he'll come back, or male, female, whatever. But universe is like, oh, I thought we closed that door. Like, are we still talking about Ben the Sagittarius? Like, do you know what I mean? There's something about that where that may be stressing you out because you actually have to detach yourself from a relationship that has ended or move away from your childhood home. It's like, I think you're exiting out of an old chapter, but you're still emotionally tied to it or holding on to it. And I feel like a lot of you think that, you know, it's in your power to wait it out because it'll come alive again. And I have to be honest, whatever that situation is, I don't see that happening. Don't shoot the messenger. That may be what is holding you back from this next adventure, this next chapter, or accepting this job, is that you want so badly for something to fit and something to work, and it consistently hasn't been. I think that's going to continue to be the same, and I'm even going to say it's going to continue to disappoint for the foreseeable future. It's not to say it could never work out again, but it's not your job to stay there and will it and hope and pray that it's going to magically come to be again. This is something that it didn't work out. That's how I would describe it. Now it could be at a job, right? It could be if you got, and I'm not predicting this because I don't see it, but if you already got let go of a job and they're like, oh, but as soon as we have the money, we're going to hire you back. it seems like it was a false promise, and maybe some of you have been waiting and waiting and like, that's the thing. Or if you went on a kick-ass interview and they're like, oh, well, we're gonna staff the position when we have the money, but that was like 9 months ago, and you're like, well, maybe they'll call me back. If that's preventing you from taking this new opportunity, you need to take the new opportunity. That's more or less what I see there. Yeah, a lot of you, there's almost, Five of Cups isn't showing, but that's the energy. It's trying to get back what has been spilled from those cups, what has been lost. It's like, well, maybe if I wait around, or maybe it's almost like you're trying to do a good deed. And I think it comes from a selfless place for the most part, but it's like very Virgo in energy. If I dedicate myself to this person or to this cause, how could it not work out? My track record is so good. And like, you are very accomplished people. When you set your mind to something, it usually does transpire. It does manifest. That's awesome. This has to do with someone who you have no control over, right? And I think that's a bitter pill to swallow. I think it's a huge source of frustration. And something about this situation may have humbled you as well, because you put all this exertion and energy into a relationship, into a job, and for some reason or another, it didn't work out. And I'm not predicting this. This is already transpired. Like, this is the past I'm talking about. But I think energetically you're still holding on to it. And if you're not holding on to trying to like revive it, almost like Frankenstein, like make it come alive again, it took a toll on you mentally, emotionally. And so you have it in your mind that if you try your hand at something else, it's going to fail. And I'm not saying that's true. I'm saying that's the perception that some of you have. And I don't see that. I don't see that being a thing. A lot of you need to focus on your own healing right now, because it is affecting your money and your path forward. So let's talk about this other option, especially something with animals over here. And honestly, both of them kind of have this tone of animal nature type stuff, but it doesn't have to be that. Excuse me, Virgo. Quick sip of water. Excuse me. Okay. Actually, tissue. I have an issue. Need a tissue. Okay. Some of you are going to walk away from realty. Some of you are going to move out of your parents' house. Some of you are going to get involved in clothing or fashion or textiles or something like that. A lot of you are going to fly. There's something about flight and travel or airplanes. And I mean, maybe that's your career, but it could just be going on an interview. Yeah, the card of travel. And animals. I see that multiple times over. So, of course, it's not everybody's message, but okay. Yeah, there is, a lot of you are moving. I see you going from one home to another. The next home is going to be significantly bigger, or you're going to have more room. So if it's not bigger, it could be saying that if you're sharing a space, you're going to get your own place. So even if it's the size of a shoebox, it's yours. Like you have the whole place to yourself. For a lot of you, it seems bigger. And for a lot of you, you've ascended in your career. You may get a raise or a position that is higher up. You may even be working in, like, if you haven't done this before, you may get like a management position or something of the sort. You're traveling over bodies of water. And okay, so I don't know what this means, but some of you work in water. So, I mean, I don't know. Are you like the Dasani guy or girl or whatever? Some of you work in water, though. So I don't know if you're a marine biologist or, again, something about preservation of land and keeping it in its natural state. Maybe I always get this message for you, Virgo, like doing something with bodies of water and keeping them fresh. Or, I don't know, maybe you build swimming pools. Some of you are working in water. That's what I'm hearing. That's how it's being relayed to me. Working in water. Does it have to do with like water signs? Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces? You do have some Scorpio cards here. A lot of you have like a performance test or like grade rubric. That's what I'm hearing. So something about you have to demonstrate your skills, and it's someone with like a clipboard is testing you on it. The thing is, I think this makes you a little bit uncomfortable. Or maybe it does or doesn't, but there's something about you. It's not just you, it's a project team for a lot of you. And I think you're worried that your people aren't going to hold up their end of the deal. This could even be someone going in to look at your house and doing measurements or something. But I don't know why, but you're nervous about it. You're nervous about them judging you. That's karma. I'm just kidding. Virgo, you know I love you. You gotta have a sense of humor about yourself, right? You gotta. Okay. Yeah, you're worried about someone making a too harsh of a judgment. This could be a court case, but if that's the case, it has to do with land and property and your house, or, property. Okay, so now I heard retail. I was going to say realty, but maybe, I don't know, maybe some issue happened at retail. I don't know, whatever. Others of you are going to write a book, or you're something about a demonstration, but it's almost like you're writing out a contract for someone, or you're writing out the rules of the deal, or... And I mean, some of you are just writers. It's going to be like a novel or an article that gets published or something. But there's very high standards. It's like you're trying to appeal to someone who has impossible standards. I don't love the vibe there, because I think it's like you're putting too much stock in what this person thinks. And, rightfully so if they control your money and your career. But also I would argue there's a lot of people who could be in that position. So it's like, don't hand over your fate and your destiny to one person. And it's being relayed to me as like an exam, like pass or fail. So if you put your best work into something and it doesn't meet the expectations of your boss or whatever, it's one person. I don't know. And the reason I'm saying that is because you're making it out to be something huge, when in reality, you may end up leaving this job like 3 months later and you're happier somewhere else. So just remember not to hand over your destiny and your future to other people. What can I tell Virgo about this project or this presentation, this test? It's very likely a collaboration. Like, I'm seeing 3 people. You may end up reuniting with someone from your past to bring on board to this project team who would be of good service to you. Someone who works with their hands, it might be like I know we always say tools on your tool belt, but literally like hammer and nails, saw, drill, like doing construction work. I don't know if that's what you're doing, but you may bring someone on board who I don't know, maybe they help fix your house, or that's their profession or something like that. Something about puzzle pieces. It's not, okay, so 7 of Pentacles. There's assessment about a project team. Okay, so this whole thing about someone grading you or looking at your performance, I just have to be honest, this isn't a fun message, but their critique of you is negative. They have really high expectations, or you guys just don't see eye to eye. You have differing opinions, you have different priorities. So know that in the long term, especially if this is your boss, but it could be someone on your team, in the long run, you guys aren't going to work together well. There's like a compatibility issue there. It's not to say you're wrong and they're right, or vice versa. It's just you guys don't have the same ideas and you don't have the same goals for the project or for the business. So that's always going to be a source of frustration for you, especially a fire sign, an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. The thing is, I think potentially if you're deciding between 2 options, both of them may involve travel in some aspect. It doesn't have to mean long term, but... yeah, make sure you're working on a project team or with people who have the same goals in mind. And I know that seems so obvious, but you'd be surprised. You may end up working with a lot of people who just kind of fell into that career and they've completely lost their zest and excitement for what they're doing. And so it's almost like there's like a slacker vibe. It's like they're meeting the bare minimum and you're putting all your time and effort into something. And I don't know if this makes sense, but it's almost like that thing in high school where you get put on a project team and you do all the work, but everyone gets the A. Be cognizant of that. There needs to be reciprocity where there's equilibrium in what people are giving and earning too. You may be better off in this scenario, whether it's just a circumstantial project or long-term, you may be better off as an entrepreneur. And that may be hard for some of you because, again, stereotypes I'm speaking in, but you live to serve others, right? It's all about, well, what can I do for you? Because that makes you feel good. That makes you feel accomplished. The thing is, if you were to direct that to yourself, just think of how freaking amazing your business would be because you would meet your own standards and needs, which I'm sure are pie in the sky, but like, you wouldn't disappoint yourself. It is sort of what I see with that. So if any of you are teetering on the idea of going solo, or well, let's pull some cards on that. Yeah, you should. You should. If any of you are teetering on going solo, or I'm going to say it this way, starting a side hustle, a new stream of income that is solely yours and yours alone. Maybe you're going to start knitting and selling sweaters on Etsy, whatever it is. Do people even do that? I feel like that would suit you well, Virgo. Yeah, in fact, anything that's artsy, craftsy to do with your hands, something like scrapbooking or knitting or even pottery or crochet or something like that, you may start a little side hustle doing that and it could end up being lucrative. All right, last few messages here. There's your Queen of Wands. Yeah, there's a fire sign in your life who's wanting to lead. but they're also egocentric. There's a big ego there. They won't be talked down to, or it's not that they won't be talked down to. They won't be told what to do because they want the fame and the glory, but they're not willing to put in the effort. So you're always going to be low man on the totem pole, working your ass off, and this person is going to receive the reward of you putting in all your time, and they just get to be like, ah, we did so good. I don't like this vibe. And that's what this is too. Like you're never going to win with this person because you guys don't see eye to eye. You have very different visions. It might be a Leo or an Aries, but it doesn't have to be. And I always feel like I have to put the disclaimer, I love me my fire signs. It's not an attack on them. It's circumstantial of what I'm seeing in the cards. You got a fire sign who's not helping you. You have a water sign who will. You have a water sign who's actively texting you and communicating with you. That could even be romantic, right? Yeah, there's your water sign. Okay, this is the same message. You have the option to keep replaying the past and going over in great detail what didn't work out, what you shoulda, coulda, woulda done differently, or what they shoulda, coulda, woulda done differently. I think your best bet is to walk away knowing, hey, I did the best I could with the knowledge I had at the time. If it's meant to be in my life, it will come back around again. You're not being asked to chase it, Virgo. You're being asked to fill your cup, fill your bank account, fill your heart, your happiness, right? Your spirituality with new opportunities because you've graduated from the past. It's literally past or future. The Knight of Cups is headed to the future. Futuristic thinking and also optimism. Something that you've been manifesting for a while, it's coming in for you. It's like the universe has already decided it is to be yours. It just hasn't knocked on your door yet. So it's not an excuse to, no, you would never do this, but to, be lazy and wait for life to happen to you. No, you gotta get yourself back on the battlefield. You gotta keep putting yourself out there and going towards what makes you happy, and also simultaneously what allows you to get by financially, right? Typically, Virgos are good with money. I'm not saying all of you are. Some of you may be at a crossroads, again, in terms of negotiation. What's more important to me? Being in a job that I love, where I feel like I'm excelling at my work and I'm enjoying it and I'm making a difference? Or do I want to be in X amount of figures in my paycheck and I don't love what I do, but at least I'm covered? Oh, and I'm not saying it always has to be that defined, but more or less, I see one of your challenges this month having to go through that, now I have to weigh out the decisions and the options. You will not make the wrong decision as long as you always follow your heart. And this is me as a tarot reader. Again, one person's opinion. I'm a big proponent of if you go towards something that you love and you're passionate about, if you truly love it, you will find new streams of income related to that. You will network and find your way into a position in that field or in that subject matter that allows you a bigger pay grade. It's when you immediately jump to, the money's good, I'm going to do that. You are going to get burned out if you don't love doing that. Okay, Virgo, that's all I got for you. All right, so next, Virgo, that was actually a pretty good one. That was a pretty good one. I hope you think the same, but... Taurus, we're going to do Taurus. The sign least likely to watch my channel, Taurus. I'm just kidding, guys. How you doing? I'm happy to have you, all three of you. Let's get some fun, good messages, important messages, profound messages for Taurus. Let's set the intention. Let's tell Taurus what they need to know about their career, their money. Taurus, you got any Taurus friends? Tell them to hop on my channel. Taurus is money. Okay, what's a storyline for Taurus's money or job, finances in the next month or two? Let's just do like a projection of a month or two. What can Taurus expect? Kicking ass at work, as long as you're dedicated. And I'm going to use the word obsessed, but in a healthy way. If you found something that you love doing and it doesn't feel like work, it's almost like this can be a card of workaholic, but something about this to me is saying, no, you love this and like you're throwing yourself into it. And not only that, you're seeing the reward. You're seeing the success of something. Here's the thing, I think it frees you from something that was a burden. You may have exited a job or a project or a situation, a romantic partner, whatever. It felt like you were shackled to it. Something about when you invest more time in your work, you start seeing, I'm hearing the word intense, changes in a positive direction. I know this is the Devil card. That's not typically what I would say with the Devil card. That's intuitively what I'm getting. So tell me more, Spirit. Tell me more. You had an awakening. You had to walk away from a romantic relationship because it was dragging you down, and it feels like you got your freedom back. You got your power back. I'm not trying to make this a romantic spread. This could also have to do with a co-worker or a boss, or in fact, very likely has to do with a boss, Taurus. I apologize in advance because I know I'm going to call you Virgo, and I don't know why. I just feel like I want to say Virgo. So were you dealing with a Virgo? Anyway, Taurus, Taurus, Taurus. Here we go. You had a final awakening or judgment call that, boo, it's time to travel. It's time to get away from this mess. In fact, if some of you weren't leaving a toxic relationship, though I would argue a lot of you were, I use the word toxic lightly. It could have been a boss who was very like verbally abusive or very demanding or something. It just wasn't working for you. I think it took you a long time to realize that because in a very Taurus fashion, you were very dedicated. You weren't just going to quit. You're like, no, I made a commitment. I made a promise. I'm going to see it through to the end. Your challenge or your lesson in all this is, boo, you don't got to see it through to the end. This is hell on earth. That could be what this represents. Like, this is not good for you. You're not making enough money. They don't treat you right. You're lessening your value, this, that. You end up moving. And so if you're not exiting a toxic relationship with, again, romantic, business, professional, whatever it is, you have love waiting for you on the other side of this move. I have to be honest, this feels like travel and exploration. This also feels like going on a little adventure. So because this is only like a month or two, you may just pick up and go on a vacation or go on a road trip or just uproot yourself for fun and see where you end up. I know that doesn't always seem very Taurian, right? And I'm also, something about Libra is coming through too. You guys are both ruled by Venus too, so maybe it has to do with love and partnership. Anyway, there's a judgment of, yeah, I think it's time to go. Or I think I just need to spread my wings and explore. I need to travel a little bit. That to me says two things. You traveling or you doing something just because your heart is calling you to do it, that it's compatible for you. There's something about you fall in love with this job that involves travel, or you fall in love when you go traveling, you fall in love with like a new city or quite possibly a new person. For those who are single and looking, if you're having some sort of awakening about your job or your money or where you're supposed to go next, I would listen to that intuition of yours because I think it's leading you to something good. It may actually be a Capricorn that you end up hooking up with. And I didn't mean hooking up with, but whatever. Hey, that's your business. That's not mine. Moving on. Others of you, it could be a Cancer, a Cancerian. I don't know why people would cross-watch people's money readings, like career and financial readings. I just keep feeling that for you. Like I'm reading for Taurus, but all these other signs are kind of coming in here. So you got people spying on you, Taurus? Is that what's going on? Some of you are going to go back to working with a Capricorn of your past, and it's not a toxic relationship. It would be someone, in fact, it may actually be someone you used to date or you used to flirt with. I'm not sure if it would be that anymore because I actually sense that they may have a business opportunity that interests you. And it doesn't mean you have to uproot yourself and like move to be with them, but it could be like a one-time deal, like you guys collaborate on a project and then go your separate ways again. But I think it's someone from your past, a Capricorn or a Cancer. And I think it's going to be, I'm using the word love affair because I'm hearing it, but it doesn't have to be sexual. The idea of, oh my gosh, I love working with you guys, or, we're so compatible, we see eye to eye, we're on the same page. It's like, you guys could be a powerhouse in terms of business partnership. That's what I see there. I kind of want to read for love just because how could I not on that card? So real quick, what's the story here? Came right out. You meet them at work. You meet them in a business venture. It could be an Aries as well, the card of Aries. Yeah, you're in love with an Aries or an Aries is in love with you, possibly an Aquarius. Wish fulfillment. Done. I love that. You have a good love message coming in. Okay, so back to this. Let's switch decks. Give me some specifics on this. So, just be careful you don't foray into the realm of being a workaholic. Some of you are going to be musicians, but you're going to be burning the candle at both ends because I see you having almost a full-time job and then you come, I don't even know if people are playing clubs and shit right now, but whatever musicians do, maybe you're just practicing round the clock when you're back at your house or your apartment or whatever. You're going to get very tired. So it's not saying don't, but it's saying be realistic that you don't become a slave to your work. Make sure you take time to enjoy the simple things in life. Make sure you hang out with your kids if that relates, because some of you are neglecting your kids to pursue your job. And I get it. Life is complicated. It's not always easy, right? But it's making you aware. If a lot of you, if it's not your kids, it's your family, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister. You end up neglecting them because you're so work. Again, something about this feels like a very positive change for you. It feels like you become addicted to it because you've never seen such success at work, or something good happens and there's a domino effect. And it's like, oh, well, now that I'm putting my energy in here and I'm seeing results, I'm going to put all my energy here. Moderation. That's where this is going to get you if you become obsessive and you sort of get lost in that darkness. You can't, see outside the tower, so to say, right? Go outside, get some light, regenerate yourself. I'm hearing rejuvenate. Spend time in nature, but really with your family is what I'm getting here. Whatever that means to you. Even if your family is your fur babies, your dogs and cats and whatever, remember to take a break. The thing is, you do have a card of victory regarding your career, so something about your career is on the up and up. I don't know if it feels like it now, Taurus, but that's the message. And it may have to do with almost like the secret ingredient has to do with something or someone from your past. That's been a very consistent message in my readings this time around, especially for my earth signs. And again, some of you, it's like you didn't understand that energetically being with an ex or a selfish, toxic person, an egotistical boss was draining your energy so much. When you finally walk away and detach yourself from that, it's like you feel like a new woman. You feel like a new man. You're like, oh, it's one of those things that's like you didn't realize how bad it was until you walked away and saw how much better it could be. Do you understand? That's exactly what this message is. You may need to take an uncomfortable risk. You may need to go to a new city. You may need to, I'm not saying you have to uproot your life. You have to go in a direction you've never gone before, even if that's just subject matter wise, right? Or taking some sort of risk on that deal. When you try something new, you start to see the reward in it, and something about that, it's repetitive. It keeps happening. So it's like you found the key ingredient. You found something that, again, domino effect. It's like one good thing happens, then another, and you, again, watch that you don't become addicted to that, especially substances. You, because you're burning the candle at both ends and you're so busy, to relax, you may default to like smoking a lot of weed, and then it becomes really out of control, and then you're going to self-sabotage, right? And I don't mean to be a prude, right? Smoke your weed, whatever. I don't care. But just watch the addiction issues to anything, or anyone for that matter, right? You may find yourself in a relationship that starts out hot and heavy, and then you're like, oh my God, I don't want to be away from this person. Like, watch your codependency. Anyway, this is not a bad card in itself. I just want you guys to know that. I know people freak out when they see that card. This is a card of Capricorn. Capricorns are like the worker bees of the zodiac. And I mean, all my earth signs are good workers. Capricorn is like, I want that position and I'm gunning for it. And you know what? They're probably going to get there. Take advice from your Capricorn friends on any business or marketing strategy. They know what they're talking about. They observe things. They're very perceptive about that. And it's not to say you aren't Taurus, but ding, 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 if you have extra Capricorn in your chart, if you have Capricorn placements that are strong, good for you. That's going to serve you, right? Specifically in business, right? Not to say Capricorn is perfect. They certainly have their faults too, as every zodiac sign. But yeah, I mean, if I'm going to go talk to a financial advisor, I'm going to be like, so are you a Capricorn? Because that's who I want to work with. All right, anyway. What was I going to say about this? It'll come to me in a minute. Okay, so if this isn't romantic, and for some of you it won't be, again, the message stands if you didn't know how bad it was until you detached from something negative and found yourself in a new area, a new arena, a new job, a new environment, a new work fam, and you're like, this is amazing. Where has this been my whole life? That's what this could be too. The Emperor representing quite clearly like your empire, your career, your work life, right? I would even argue, because it's the Father card, you may end up with a group of people who it's like they're your work family. You guys love each other. Again, there may or may not be sparks of romance. It's neither here nor there. I mean, I guess that's a fun bonus for some of you. There's wish fulfillment here. You've worked your ass off for this. So if you get offered some position that seems too good to be true, in this specific reading, I'm going to tell you, it probably isn't. It's probably pretty damn good. These cards are great. All right, let's get some new messages for Taurus. Oh, these readings are so much better. I did water signs. That was a shit show. And I can honestly, part of it was me reading the cards. They just weren't coming together. I don't know what it was. Anyway, fire signs were okay. Earth signs are far and away the best. All right, here we go. For Taurus, let's reconnect with Taurus. So you have the Chariot twice. So something to do with automobiles? Makes me think of 16 Candles. Where is my automobile? Have you seen that? Anyway, moving on. Something to do with cars or the automotive industry. I'm hearing the word brake pads. Something to do with cars. If you don't work in the auto industry or anything to do with cars, I don't know, maybe you're going to get a new car. Maybe you're going to be gifted a car. Are you going to win a car? I don't know. You get a car. Now, it's something to do with travel and transit. Watch out for unexpected things happening with your vehicle, simply because it is Aquarius season. Aquarius, well, depending on when you watch this, Aquarius is ruled by planet Uranus, which is all about explosions and unexpected things, and it's the rebellious planet. Things just happen on a whim, out of nowhere, and you don't expect it. So if you're planning a long trip, make sure you got an extra tire in the back, or make sure you have a AAA membership, something like that, especially in terms of transit. Some of you may be going to work with a Virgo, and it may have to do with, I gave them the same message, something to do with water systems, or working in water, working by water, working around water, working for a water company, or something to do with that. Water and power, I don't know, something to do with water. Some of you may end up working with horses, or you're just going to go horseback riding. Some of you are going to marry a Sagittarius. Or again, a Cancer, something to do with sea life or seafood. I don't know if you're opening a restaurant or something to do with sushi. You may just be, I don't know, maybe you're learning how to cook things, something with seafood. Some of you have 2 job opportunities coming in, and one of them would, it's funny, Virgo had the exact same cards. One of them would involve, one if not both would involve you needing to move your home, your house. You wouldn't be able to stay in the same spot or the same apartment. I don't know all the reasons why, and I'm not saying both of them would, but you have one opportunity coming in that would sort of force you to move. Maybe it's living expense or cost of living or your commute, your travel time, something like that. Some of you are going to find something important in your attic or in your basement. It's like probably something you used to do in your past, or something that was very sentimental, like an artifact from your family, and I don't know maybe it's of value. I don't know if you're going to sell it or something like that. There's something to be discovered in your attic or in your basement, and it either helps your finances or realigns you to a career or an interest or a hobby that the universe is wanting you to see. Tell me more about that. It may even have to do with, I know this is kind of controversial, but like hunting, like deer hunting, like rifles, or like camo or something. I don't know, like a grandfather, or what do you call those plaques on the wall? I feel like they're always in like Wes Anderson movies. Like, I don't know. Like of animal heads, right? So I don't know, something to do with animals. I don't know. Or fishing, something to do with fishing or boats or something. Okay, anyway. Okay, so yes, for some of you, there's definitely an offer coming in that you're very excited to take. It may involve something in regards to teaching, or I'm hearing the word professor. Teaching or counseling or working with children, or actually old people. It could even be like in an old folks home or something of the sort. You may be teaching interns or very young people how to do a skill or a trade. The thing is, if that is you, it's because you're very wise and experienced in this field. So if you haven't been doing this for literally ages, this probably isn't your message. Also, something to do with like karate or jujitsu or something like that. Again, it doesn't have to be your career, but you may end up taking a class and you really enjoy it. It might just be saying work on your body, make sure exercise is a key focus for you. And something with swords. Swords on the wall. I'm seeing like samurai swords. So I don't know, are you decorating? Are you I don't know, costume design, or doing something on film sets? It's almost like a little, not a temple. What do you call that? Like, I'm sort of seeing like a karate studio. So maybe this is like a film. Maybe you're designing film sets, or I don't know. But something about that, like a temple, or maybe you're traveling to like China or something. I don't know what that is, but I don't even know what to make of it. I don't know what that has to do with your career, but if it's your message, sure. Yeah, okay, so something to do with weapons. I was going to say this whole like hunting rifle thing. I don't know what that is, but now I'm seeing different types of like, and it's being shown to me as like displayed on a wall, like racks of guns or racks of swords. And the thing is, just to put most of you at ease, they're not being used to fight. They're like artifacts. Like maybe it's from one of the world wars like ages ago. So I don't know, maybe you're going to do something with like as an archivist or something historical, or placing in a museum, or you're going to allow a museum to rent it from you and you're going to get all this money. It's something like that, you guys. It's very unique. It's a very unique piece. It's certainly a topic of conversation. People are going to have the same reaction I do. Is like, why do you have that? What is that? What are we talking about? Like, it's something to do with like weapons. And I'm certainly not condoning using weapons or violence of any kind. You guys know that. But anyway, one more message. Let's talk more about money. I'll try for it anyway. Something to do with going back to school or writing a term paper or something. It's something very wordy. It feels like you're writing an essay. So maybe you're writing a book or a journal or you're writing instructions, but it would be like published somewhere. There's a lot of writing and having to go back and edit and change the words and the word order. And it could even be with spreadsheets if you're doing someone's finances. Especially women, helping groups of women. Especially female students, too, or something about female anatomy. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you're an OBGYN. Just saying. I know this is your financial reading, but the thing is when I read for love, I never get such good messages, so I'm just showing you. That looks real good. If you're single and looking, Taurus, or if you're engaged and falling in love, you got marriage. All right. Others of you, okay, there's a lot of messages going here, and this is my struggle is like, I'm going to tell you them, but that's all I can do. I don't know if it relates or why I'm being told this, but here's some messages. So a lot of you feel like someone stole your job, or you were gunning for some job and maybe you were talking about it and then your best friend applied and they got it. And there's a lot of bitterness and resentment there. Or you feel there's like jealousy with your friends. And I'm not coming down on you. I'm not like scolding you. You're human. That happens. You need to remove yourself from that negative state of thinking because it's blocking your blessings. There's a lot of bitterness and resentment of the thief. So this is someone who stole your job or someone who was excelling at your career more than you. And like you're comparing yourself to other people. You need to stop doing that. For others of you, it quite literally could have been someone who stole your money or stole your house or whatever. So only if that's the case. If someone quite literally stole a possession of yours or your money, there's a very good chance you're either going to get it back or hear from that person, or some way or another, universe is going to make it right. It might not be tit for tat. If someone, I don't know, stole your car, I'm not saying you're going to get that car back, but you will get something in return of equal or lesser value. No, do you understand what I mean? Universe makes it right. They're like, yeah, that happened and it sucked. Don't let that bring you down. It happened. I hate to say like get over it because I know it meant a lot to you guys. Something comes to you that is like unexpected and it makes up for that shitty circumstance. It's also that it doesn't remove you from examining that shitty circumstance though. You're being asked, why do you think that happened? For some of you, it was out of your control. For some of you, it happened because it happened. For others of you, it's because you were hanging out with low-vibing people. You were giving your energy to people who were takers and not givers. And that could have been romantically. That could have been your ex-husband or your ex-wife, right? You were in a almost like a state of bad health. And that says to me, you were very vulnerable at the time. And you were making poor choices in who you were hanging out with. And not only that, who you were allowing into your life. I'm not saying you're dumb. I'm saying at the time you didn't respect yourself enough. So that was the lesson. You got your car stolen because you didn't set firm boundaries with your ex. So again, I'm not scolding you or reprimanding you or trying to make you feel bad. There was a lesson attached to it. You are responsible for acknowledging and understanding that lesson and putting into practice ways to not repeat it. Something good comes to you, possibly from a Sagittarius, when you kind of bridge that gap. Others of you, this whole thing of, and here's the thing. Others of you are bitter or resentful or feeling some type of way because it feels like everyone else around you is succeeding but you. You need to get out of that headspace because you're never going to succeed if you're always telling yourself, oh, I never, make the cut. Everyone succeeds but me. I get that you feel that way, and that is valid, but you need to do something about it. Careful about your karma, because if you start shit talking and say, oh, well, Julie and Becky, they always get this, and I should have gotten that job, but she, all that kind of like girl drama, and it doesn't have to be girl. My guys are doing it too. the irony is that someone who you just like shit talked up and down all over, they reach out to you years later with a pretty bomb job opportunity, and you're going to be like, oh, and universe is like, interesting. So again, I don't mean to make you feel bad, Taurus, but these messages are so loaded with karma, and it's almost like be careful what you wish for, but also be careful what you say. Be careful who you throw under the bus. Be careful who you let into your life, because ultimately I'm wanting to quote the craft. It's like what you send out, you get back ×3. And the thing is, for some of you, it's an interesting message because someone who you view as the enemy, here's the thing, it's a frenemy. That's how I would describe this. Someone you like, oh man, I helped them get that job and then they got the CEO position and it should have been me. That person's going to help you later, so watch yourself. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Overall, this is a very positive message, but I do see you like, what is that? Like muttering under your breath about that should have been mine and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, I'm slaving away doing this work. And this could even be about your ex. Be careful. Be careful. That's all I'm saying, because something good comes to you, but I almost see it as it comes to you, but there's this sense of guilt because you know you don't deserve it because you didn't treat that person well. And so there's like this false, again, frenemy. There's this false sense of, oh, we're friends and we got each other. Yeah, when it's convenient for you, when they give you something, but you understand the message. That's what I got for you, Taurus. All right. Anyway, congratulations on the wedding. That looks awesome. Yeah, that's what I got for you, Taurus, and my earth signs. If you made it this far, please like, share, subscribe, and I will see you very soon for more tarot. Bye, guys.